everyone, and welcome back to Power Cubing Studio, where we talk about none other than this little spinny cube thingy. So today we are going to talk about the most important milestone in cubing, the sub 20 barrier. Actually, recently I had a friend reach out to me and ask, what do I need to do from here on to get to that sub 20 territory? He sent me an average of 5, so today we are going to take a look at it and give some feedback. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Okay, so that was the first solve. The first thing I can say is that the cross was good. Of course, it's not like sub 2 second or sub 1 second by any means, but for a sub 20 solve, that is absolutely fast enough. For the F2L, mostly it's alright. Of course, it was a little bit choppy. You stop at some times to, find the next pair. That we can improve on, but to get sub 20, we do not need to completely eliminate that. I think the thing that prevented you from getting sub 20 in this one solve is your algorithms and their execution. Well, one example I like to point out is this case right here. As you can see, he got this case as his last pair, and normally we'll solve it like this. And in the video, you can see that you solve it like this. You do the same algorithm, but you start with a regrip, like this, in which you need to regrip again to insert it. Now, although 2 regrips like this and like this might not seem like a lot, but we have 4 pairs of F2L and OLL and PLL. So if you were to do 1 regrip for every single one of those, that's 1 or 2 seconds extra added to your time. So that's one thing you should work on, Go back and revisit your F2L tutorials. I'm sure there's a video guide on how to do the finger tricks. If for some reason the place you learned your F2L did not show the correct finger tricks, go check out Jay Perm's video on it. That's a very good video. He shows all the correct finger tricks. He even talks about them and says to not regrip and random stuff. And one more thing I noticed for this one, it seems like you have learned the PLL of A Perm, which is amazing. But what in the living daylight is that algorithm and its execution? I got a feeling when you learn these algorithms, you searched up the algorithm and just, memorized that. You did not learn it from a video explaining the finger tricks, because my friend, those finger tricks are diabolical. They are unacceptable, okay? I'm not judging you, I'm judging your cubing. And that's fair game. You sent me these videos. So yeah, what I'll say is for the PLL algorithms, I know it might be annoying, but you need to fix your finger tricks. But trust me, it won't take that much time and you won't have to relearn everything. It'll be like a 1 or 2 day commitment and it will send you a very, very long way. So all in all, this is 20.05. I think it's a very good solve for your goal of a sub 20. If you fix your regrips a little bit and fix your finger tricks for the last layer, I think you can definitely get an 18 over 19 on this solve. So that's my feedback. It was a clean solve, it's a sub 20 and I don't see any problems with anything. Good cross, good F2L and also a good last layer. Now I noticed this on the second watch only, which is this case right here, which is your last case. So you did something like this. And in my opinion, a better solution would be like this. Which, as you can see, is the exact same algorithm. The only difference is, instead of taking it out with a regrip like so, and we're trying to regrip again to insert it, why not? We do it like this. Go up, we hook with our index finger like so, and come down. That way, we don't have to regrip at all, and we can just insert it with 0 instead of 2 regrips. Now, another way I can see you improving on this is changing the algorithm. From this side actually, of course, if you get the case from this side, your algorithm is certainly the best. However, if you get it from the side, you can actually solve it like this. In which not only this has 0 grips, this has 0 rotation as well. Now, I think you can notice a recurring pattern here, which is the regrips. You want to replace all of this with something like this. Now, I wouldn't say no regrips is the single most important factor between a sub 20 and non-sub 20 cuber. However, it is quite a noticeable pattern as well that all the sub 20 cubers you see, they rarely have regrips like this. I'm not saying this is the key to get sub 20 per se, but this is definitely an important element, so you do want to work on the regrips, as previously mentioned on number 1 the F2L and number 2 on the PLLs. Still, this is a very good solve on your end as a sub 20, so good job. Okay, so now on to solve number 3. First things first, the cross was a little bit slow, but that's okay. We can work on that, along the way. The main thing I want to comment on is the last layer. You got an F perm in this video. Now going back to the point I made on the first solve PLL, once again, the finger tricks can be optimized a little bit. For the F perm, as you can see, we can very well perform the whole thing without any regrips. In which I think in yours, there was a little bit regrip at the end. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is just that same thing as usual, as the first solve, polish up your PLL algorithms and make sure they are up to standard of being optimized. Now, one more thing that I noticed is that when you got the F perm from this angle, what you did was you rotated to do the algorithm. There's actually a better way to do that, and not just for F perm, but for every single PLL algorithm. Basically, you want the bar to be at the side, right? So instead of rotating like that, you put the bar at the side like so, and then you do the algorithm, and then you push it back just like so. And doing one move like this and like this is very fast and way faster than a rotation. Now, of course, this can be applied to every single PLL. For example, for this T perm, if I get it from, let's say, this angle, I don't have to match it, rotate, and do the algorithm. I can just, from this angle, do the algorithm and shift it over. Now, once again, this is one of the small habits that will bring you quite a long way. This is an important habit, and I do recommend you learn to do this. So yeah, that's all for the third solve. Okay, so for solve number 4, I think the main thing that held you back and made you get a 25 was the cross. So based on these 4 solves, I'm beginning to think, are you planning all 4 of your cross pieces? Or are you planning like 3 and winging the last? Or maybe sometimes you can plan all 4, sometimes you can't. So to get to a sub 20 level, optimally, you do want to work on your cross a little bit. It's okay if you can't close your eyes and make the whole cross blindfolded. You need to at least have a pretty solid idea on where pieces will end up, so you know where to look. The thing that we want to avoid is, maybe solving 3 cross pieces and having to look, like flip around and look for the 4th cross piece. It's okay if you're not exactly 100% sure what move to do next, but you need to very clearly know exactly what position you need to look at to solve the whole cross. For example, if I only can plan 3 perfectly, maybe I'll estimate that my last cross piece will end up right here. So when I finish solving those 3, I know to look right here. So for sub 20, you don't need a 100% perfect planned cross, but you do need a solid idea on where the pieces will be, so you won't solve 3 and have to turn around to look for the last. And once again, it's the PLL. You got the A-perm is actually quite a good algorithm. No grips. Okay, and for the last solve, a 22, is definitely the cross. Fixing that would definitely help you a lot on getting sub 20. You know what I described for the previous solve. And of course, for the last layer, I don't have to say it again. It's the finger tricks. So yeah, based on these 5 solves, I'll say what I can about the whole overall. You reached out to me before and asked what does it take to be sub 20. I told you that you need to know full OLL and PLL. Well, admittedly, that was what helped the most for me in my specific case, and of course learning that will bring you a long way. Based on these 5 videos, I can conclude that you're pretty much already at the sub 20 stage. Although your last layer, of course you don't have all the algorithm knowledge of full last layer, but your F2L speed and your cross for the most is actually fast enough to be sub 20 even without learning full OLL. So what I'll suggest for you to get sub 20, number 1, train your cross. It doesn't matter how you train it, you can just cube more, you can do specific cross training, whatever, you can solve a cross, scramble and solve a cross again, but you need to learn how to properly plan out your cross. And second thing, of course, you go revisit your PLLs and make sure your finger tricks are up to date. Because for most of the PLLs here, it's a little bit choppy. Either there's a regrip or something's just a little bit off. If you number 1, fix your cross, number 2, fix your PLLs, I actually think that you can in fact average sub 20 very consistently without even learning full OLL, because your F2L is pretty good. It's definitely up to standard of a sub 20. So yeah, so in the end, if you don't want to learn full OLL, you can definitely get sub 20 without it. Revisit the PLLs one by one. Go check out JPerm's video. I'll put it in the description. That's how I learned. And secondly, the cross. Practice the cross. So yeah, I guess that's that. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.